Hello everyone, welcome to the Twilight Executive channel. My name is Maestro, and today we have another replay with using an aggressive Blink Stalker style in the early game. And it's from Horizons, as usual. So nothing really special happens in the early game. It's just standard gate expansion. Terran just went for normal Reaper expand, also, by the way. So nothing really cheesy or out of standard here. So yeah, Reaper comes across, creating his Adept, has a mothership core coming out, and as you've learned from our base defense video, from the first video we've made, you usually want to use the Adept at your natural and your mothership core at your main, because of pylon overcharge, and you have nothing at your natural quite yet. Yeah, let's skip forward here. Yeah, Reaper comes, gets blown to bits. So, he sends the Adept to scout. When with the Adept, instead of scouting, what he does is he actually sends it to the Zilnaga Tower. Since the Zilnaga Tower is such a big deal in this map compared to the other ones. Because there are two ways to the enemy base. You can either take this route, or you can take the one here. Usually I think people actually take the one here. I'm not sure why. It might be the pathing for the AI. But if they do take it here, the Zilnaga Tower actually catches them moving there. So here, he tries to scout with Adept. This is on 3.7, by the way, but there isn't any. I don't think there's anything from 3.8 that actually changes anything with this build. So that's why I'm doing it now. So yeah, the Adept went to scout with its shade, whatever. So meanwhile at home, he's taking his third gas, the natural is almost saturated, also has a robotics bay up, and he's researching Blink and Crowing at the same time. Blink will be a very, very big part of this build, or this game, and this style in general, because it allows Stalkers to do so much more. So what you'll see in the first warp in is Blink Stalker. Any second, sometime, yeah. Third one comes through, yeah. Alright. So yeah. So usually you don't want to move out until you get the second wave of units in. And that's around the same time as when Blink finishes. Also from the Robobet, you want to make an observer out first. So it gives you high ground vision when you're harassing, and it also gives you detection as well. Because Terrans actually have Widow Mines in the early game. So that's one of their cloaked units. That or the Banshee. So yeah, let's speed this up until he moves out. So yeah, he moves out around now. Meanwhile, the Terran has contested the Zilnaga Tower, but I think, yeah, he leaves a lot of his units out of position here. So the Stalkers come to contest the Zilnaga Tower as well, and they kill all the Marines. And at that point, the Pro knows he has a huge advantage, because that was a lot of Marines right there. Especially since it was the early game, so he's gonna go in. So, and as you see here, here's one of the reasons why Blink is extremely useful against early game Terran. And this is actually it's just useful period because of stuff like this. You can see when you fire off a Widow Mine shot, it'll actually lock on, but it won't. You can dodge the Widow Mine shot by blinking away right when the shot comes out of the Widow Mine, and you won't take any damage whatsoever. So it took no damage from that, and that was a wasted Widow Mine shot. That's also a reason why you have this observer coming over, is you want to observe out in case of Widow Mine shots, or like some weird stuff like maybe a Banshee, or like a Ghost Rush, I don't know. I don't think there are that many cheese Terrans can do, but it's a safe thing to do. So now that he has observer out, he can actually take out these Widow Mines, because Stalkers outrange the range for Widow Mines. So yeah, and the Terran has to shore up his defenses right now, and the Stalker's just focus down the bunker first, because mainly with Blink Stalker, you can do stuff like this, like blink back like that. You blink back when the shields are depleted, and when you blink them back, after a set period of time the shields will regenerate, and your Stalkers will have more effective HP, pretty much. So that's what you want to do with Blink too. It's one of the ways to make Blink more cost efficient for Stalkers, considering how expensive they are. So yeah, see? At this point, here's something else. He sees a Widow Mine burrow right in front of him, locks on. As soon as that shot comes out, he can dodge it with Blink as well. Yeah, like that. So yeah, Terran has no choice but to back away. And he just walks in there. Nothing to really stop him, except for this Marauders. Usually which one to do against Marauders, you want to focus fire them first if they're in small numbers. In larger numbers, you generally want to back away, because Marauders directly counter Stalkers. So yeah, Stalkers beat Marines though. As you see here, he's going to abuse the fact that he's in the base right now. He's just going to take out as many SCVs as possible and then just blink out. He actually loses a lot more than expected, mainly because of Marauder has concussive shells now. So the Stalkers lose one aspect of their mobility, which is their move speed, but they still have Blink though. So yeah, you can use that to disengage. At this point, yeah, sure, the Protoss lost most of his Stalkers, but the Terran lost a lot of SCVs. If we look here, that's 10 SCVs killed. That's around 500 minerals worth of damage right there alone, and that's not even considering the supply depot and the bunker and the other stuff too that was there. Meanwhile, at home, the Protoss has been macroing. So the Protoss ends up ahead, because if you weren't macroing behind this, you may or may not be behind, depending on what's going on. So while he's at home macroing and stuff like that, he managed to get Robo Bay, his Robo Bay, so he can get Disruptors, because he wants to go Disruptors this game. You can go anything else you want, like Temple Archives, or like Stargate to Fleet Beacon if you want. So that's just personal preference. And he's gotten his 2 gates up, and he has his 3rd up, so yeah, and his 2nd gas as well, or 4th gas actually. So he's generally ahead of the Terran. Also, what the Protoss also did there was also when he was, let's see if we can rewind it. I kind of missed that. Sorry about that. Here, around here, he's checking for a 3rd, and if there is a 3rd, he's going to want to contest that as much as possible, because he's also getting a 3rd up at home, and the more he delays that 3rd, the more in a advantageous position he'll be in. So yeah, let's skip forward back to where we were. This actually gives me finer control, because scrubbing is actually kind of inaccurate. So yeah, we were around here last time. So he's populating up his 3rd. For his nat and his main are saturated. So he's in pretty much a good general position. He also has a forge up. He's researching +1 weapons. You could research armor. That is one of the options you can do instead of weapons. Because with armor, the Marines, they do... mainly their DPS comes from how fast they attack, rather than how much damage per shot they do. So if you were to get +1 armor, the Stalkers already have 1 armor built in. So as soon as they get to their HP, and all the shields are depleted, they'll be cancelling out 2 damage per shot. Marines deal 6 damage without upgrades. So that's 33% of the damage of Marines just being negated right there by the armor. Marauders, on the other hand, they do a lot more damage, so it's not that great. But yeah. So Horizons knows he's still ahead. He doesn't even need to look at the other guy's base to know he's ahead. He killed so much there, he's just gonna warp in more Stalkers and finish it. Let's speed up here. In this fight, you see he focuses down the Marauders first. So he blinks, focuses them down. Mainly because Marauders are really, really good against Stalkers, like I said. Then he's just gonna move on. Snipes whatever he can while on the way there. And the Terran has no choice but to pull SCVs. Blinks in, snipes 1 Marauder, snipes the 2nd one. And then pretty much he's won the game. There's no army supply left for the Terran. He should have... Nah. He could have pulled up the supply depot there, yeah, but and blocked out the Stalkers. But the Stalkers can just blink over buildings, so it doesn't really matter. Meanwhile, Horizon's also warping units at home. Keep producing whatever he is. He's adding on more warp gates. So he decided to go Disruptors this game. So yeah. So pretty much you've won the game at this point if you're on top of the Terran's production. Yeah, if you look at the APM tab, yeah. There's not much a Terran can do at this point. Yeah, and it's GG. So one of the problems people have, or one of the disadvantages of this this style of play, is that you are depending a lot on your multitasking ability between poking and macroing at home. So if you're not good at multitasking, you could actually make a very fatal mistake and lose all of your units and still be behind at home. But the positive thing about this build is if someone's going really, really greedy, like this Terran was doing, he had his 3rd CC down really, really fast this game, and that's why he had so little army units, and he also went for 2 more barracks, is that you can just outright kill them, or you can punish them to the point where this 3rd command center either never touches the ground, or the benefits of having a 3rd command center are like moot, because you've lost so much just to get 3rd command center down. So yeah, also it provides free scouting of the enemy's unit composition, because you'll be engaging it all the time. So if he gets out a siege tank or like liberators, you know, like, okay, yeah, he's got liberators now, I need to counter it accordingly, right? So yeah, just in general, multitask well. Learn how to blink micro. There are probably a few trainers blink microing on the arcade somewhere. I don't use any, I just like play versus AI. But yeah. What else can I say? I think that's it. Oh, here's something else too. After you finish your desired +1, so either +1 armor or +1 weapons, if you build a 2nd forge and start researching your +2, and then as soon as the forge finishes, you start researching your +1 for whatever thing you wanted, it should finish up around the same time. So that's what Horizons told me after this game when we were talking about it. So yeah. If you liked this video, guys, feel free to like it. If you didn't like it, feel free to dislike it. And if you did, please comment below what you didn't like it, so I can improve on these videos in the future. So, yeah, thanks for watching.